tried to schedule a vasectomy during the Masters this year because I was like, it's November. That'd be great. I can spend 3 or 4 days just watching golf. And I realized that I wasn't going to be in town, so I couldn't do it. And I was highly disappointed. So now I got to figure out another giant sporting event that I can wait for and get it done.
Having the Masters in November, it seems wrong.
It was wrong, and I was extremely impressed by the green of the grass.
Well, that's because it's the national. So another fun fact, I lived in Augusta for a year. I graduated high school in Augusta, Georgia, actually. My parents lived in Augusta from 1999 till 2 years ago. So they were there a long time, and they were at the largest Methodist church in Augusta that actually had 2 members of the national that were members of the church. And my little brother dated the daughter of one of the members that went to our church. So we got some perks over there at the national. My brother actually worked the tournament, and we always got tickets. So we went to the practice round tournament anytime that somebody would be like, hey, do you want any tickets? We would go. And I actually took my wife the year that Arnold Palmer retired, or his last round, rather. I took her, and her uncle, who is like the biggest golf fanatic, was like, are you freaking kidding me? You went to the Masters and watched Arnold on his last round? What? I was like, what? I mean, it was like a normal thing for me. I whatever.
That's fairly like, who's Arnold Palmer?
He makes this awesome drink.
Yeah,
lemonade and tea.
The Arizona tea guy?
Yeah. He's the tea and lemonade man. Also played a little bit of golf.
So I played in a tournament here in Nashville put on by Southwest Airlines, and in a blind drawing, I won 2 tickets onto Monday, 2 tickets to Tuesday to the Masters back. I don't know. I have it on my wall as a reason to look it up. 2016. So
nice.
I framed a couple of things. So I took my dad. So me and my dad we went Monday and Tuesday. My favorite trip I've ever made to any sporting event ever. And I've been to the Stanley Cup. It's amazing. I've been to like some really cool sporting events. Nothing compares to it. And every person who ever runs any other sporting event should go to that event and see how it's run.
Yeah, if you possibly can.
Yeah, it's insane.
No cell phones allowed.
Beautiful. I missed my wife's birthday, and I was there on it, and I had to use one of the payphones where you can call anywhere in the world for free to call her and tell her happy birthday while I was there.
You guys talking about the Masters. I can only think of a few things that would probably be more fun, and getting a second vasectomy would probably be more fun than watching the Masters.
Really?
Sticking
my hand in a deep fryer, maybe.
That's it. You know what?
Got a couple non-golfers on
there. No, I don't golf at all. I've only golfed a few times, and I hit it far, but I shank it, and it's just like watching it. I actually think to be fair, if I went and actually was there, I think it'd be fun to be there and actually watch it. I think it'd be cool.
It's amazing.
To watch it on TV, I feel like would be super lame. I just couldn't do it. It's actually I love baseball too, and I can actually sit through baseball, but I have to be talking with somebody. You can't just sit there and just look and watch baseball. It's a very leisurely sport, right? Just like golf would be a very leisurely sport. So if you have somebody there you can talk to.
No, you're not allowed to talk.
And if you go to like watching football, it's pretty constant, right? Football's constant. I don't really watch basketball, but basketball's more constant, so I understand why people like that. Well, hockey's super, all back and forth all the time. I think you'd have to have somebody there watch. I can't watch golf on TV.
What if there was a crossover between golf and hockey?
That's what I'm talking about. At some point they can drop. At some point they can drop the glove and then fight.
Yes,
I said the wrong.
I think it's called.
You ruined my joke.
That's what happens when you have 3 drinks.
I was going to say the only thing I've ever watched golf wise is Happy Gilmore, and it was
Happy Gilmore. I said Billy
Price
Madison.
is wrong, Bob.
It's a swing and a miss. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean about baseball because I played baseball all the way up and through college. I cannot watch Major League Baseball on TV.
Yeah.
Like
until
World
it gets
Series,
to October.
Yeah.
Right. October is a completely different thing when the World Series is on the line. In LCS, ALCS, all that is completely different. But a normal game, like I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Sitting in front of the TV.
You have to have like a barbecue where everyone's just over talking, like shooting the shit, and then
it's the background.
On. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, during the World Series, so I was in Missouri when the Cardinals won the World Series, right, which is in 2011 to 2012. That year, I was 2011. I was in there, so it was fun. We went to bars and we were watching the World Series. It was a blast, but like watching it day to day, especially as an Angels fan, it's heartbreaking to just sit there and watch. It's just I can't do it, dude. But I don't know.
I watched
Blue Jays fan.
most. Yeah, that's horrible.
Get yourself.
I watched most of the Giants games from 2017, 18. All like most of them, I probably watched, and I loved it. And then they went to crap, and
the Giants, you said,
and then they started they brought other things that aren't baseball into baseball, and I haven't watched it all since then.
That was right after the steroids, though.
Yeah, I know. It's horseshit. I'm like, just let them do what they want. I want the best players that science can build.
Yeah, I'm with you. No, I'm with you on that, though.
Please, bring back
you look at
Barry Bonds
Sammy Sosa
days.
And Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, that era is amazing to watch.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
I went to Cooperstown the year that they broke the records.
Yeah.
And it was like nuts. Like everyone was like,
Back to
this
back.
is so crazy, so crazy. And then the next year they're like, oh, they all cheated.
Okay.
I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, you still got to swing a bat, right? And they're still throwing 100 miles an hour, right?
Yeah.
So
they're throwing 96 mile an hour fastballs with
let
82
everybody
mile an hour
juice.
changeups. Like
Exactly.
Let everybody juice and see what happens. That's what I say.
Well, that's like so I watch UFC all the time. That's actually something I've really gotten into, especially since when COVID hit. They were the only sport on for a while, right? Like they were figuring it out and doing it. I love watching it. But if you walked back in the day when they didn't have USADA, which is like the drug testing pool, do you look at like Brock Lesnar and all these guys? It's like, you can tell. Like there's some of them that are still in, like Alistair Overeem, who's a heavyweight. Like if you look, they called him Ubereem because he was just jacked and he was on all the steroids, like all the Mexican supplements. He was on all those, and then like you look at him now and you're like, oh, now you look like a normal human being.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna let everybody do it, like I'm okay with that. If it's an even playing field. Have you guys ever seen? I watched the on ESPN. They had the Lance Armstrong documentary. Did you guys watch that? Dude, first of all, it was a fantastic documentary. But like you kind of feel bad for him in a sense. Like there's certain things you don't feel bad for him. Like he went out of his way to lie a ton. But when it comes to like the drug stuff, I actually kind of felt bad for him. I don't know if you felt like that, Nick, but like
he was dating Sheryl Crow or married to Sheryl Crow.
No,
Feel that bad.
no, I'm just talking. No, he was a douche in a lot of different ways. But like you look at him, like he was an asshole, like he really was. Like, but he's a freaking winner, right? Like when they show him like as a 15-year-old competing in triathlons, and he's like in the top 5 with these professional triathlons, and he's 15. It's like, damn, this guy's good. And then they vilified him as like, hey, he only did good because he was on drugs. And it's like, well, that's not true. We know that's not true. You can't do that. And the
you
reason
still got to pedal.
Yeah, it's like, and then 1 year when he was in doing chemo,
still got
they actually went through and they're like, somebody got the guy that won got flagged for drugs, right? So like, hey, we need to like crown the new winner, right? Because he's disqualified. You know how many people they had to go down the line to actually figure out who was
all of them.
They went 18 down the line. So they went 18 down the road to be like, oh, this guy didn't test positive for drugs. It's like, well, if
everybody was doping.
Yeah, it's like everybody's doping. Then why are we upset? Like this is the game. They
talked
all
about that
have
with
some
like
fun.
Yeah,
the world's strongest man. Like everybody does steroids, obviously.
Oh, dude. I had a guy.
All I wanna do is have some fun.
So I had a guy drop off tools right to my house. Like it was some of my Delta tools. He came in and he was the biggest guy I've ever seen in real life. I was like, oh my gosh, you're real. Like are you from Iceland? My God, you're massive. And so he was like, yeah, I compete for the world's strongest man competition. I was like, oh, that's cool. So he's like and he was telling me, and we started talking for like a good amount of time. And he was like, yeah, my wife's the world's strongest woman or whatever. And he was showing me pictures. And I'm like, oh,
What's his name?
I don't remember. I follow him on Instagram now.
It's a natural attraction, by the way.
Yeah,
his wife's name?
I don't know, but she was like a 5-time world champion, and I'm like, oh,
Hans and Hans.
Yeah, I was like, she scares the crap out of me. You know?
Over, do you need any cars moved or anything?
So I asked him,
is your house straight?
Yeah. So I asked him
on the patio cover.
So I asked him, I was like,
over.
so when it comes to like steroids and stuff, is everybody just taking them?
He just stopped you, all of them.
Yeah, no, that's basically what he said. He was like, he's like, you kind of have to. It's like, right. I was like, okay, cool. So like everybody's aware, like that all these guys that are huge that compete, they'll take steroids. Everyone's just like, this is what we do.
That's what that guy, that Rogan had the gay one on his podcast. Did you listen to that?
He's had a couple on, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and his Instagram's like the world's strongest gay or something like that. he's like doesn't hide it whatsoever, but he was like, yeah, everybody takes steroids.
If you look at those guys, I think everybody just assumes, but
when their biceps are 32 inches around, like my waist, it's kind of...
Nick, what position did you play in baseball?
Well, it changed because when I was in high school, I played outfield. I was a center fielder and pitcher, and then when I got to college, I got
either a
slow.
pitcher or not.
Yeah, I was still a pitcher. I was no longer a starter. I came in for relief. I played first base and pitched in college.
So you're
but
left-handed?
I was left-handed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
nice.
Here's a fun fact: baseball and certain sports are the only things I do left-handed.
Yeah, same with me.
Like my brother.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's super weird. I throw
except for
left-handed.
baseball. I don't do that left-handed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I write left-handed, but I am left eye dominant. But like I play baseball right-handed, I bat right-handed, but I shoot right-handed.
That's how my brother is.
I shoot right-handed.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
you're left eye dominant.
left eye dominant. Yeah.
Something's wrong with you.
Are you like crossing over?
I'm just messed up.
I 100% I shoot with my right eye, no matter if I'm left eye dominant or not.
Really?
Yeah, it took a lot of concentration, but yeah.
I only play baseball left-handed, so I write right-handed, and I throw left-handed. I shoot right-handed. I bowl right-handed. I play golf left-handed.
Wow, you're really screwed up. You're way screwed up more than me.
Yeah, but I prefer
so
to play
much better. Thank you, Nick.
Right? Yeah. No, I prefer to play golf right-handed though because everyone has right-handed clubs.
Oh,
I got one more. Not to one up you because I'm not gonna one up you because that's pretty amazing. But the most screwed up part about me is that I write left-handed on paper, but if you invert it up to like a whiteboard or a chalkboard, I write right-handed.
Wait, what?
Weird.
But I can't do one or the other because as a young age, when I grew up, of course, Mullen, shut up. They just had chalkboards.
They didn't even have
dry erase boards. In the 1920s, during the Great Depression. Yeah, go ahead.
They have chalkboards.
Just got
and so if you write left-handed on a chalkboard and you drag your hand, you just smear it across. So
does that not
as a young age, I started writing right-handed on chalkboards. And I've always done it, and I've always.
So you can write right-handed?
Yeah, when it's up on a wall. But if you put it down on a tabletop, I can't write right-handed. Like it's terrible.
That's messed up, man.
That's weird.
Very messed up.
Did you? So when you started shooting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, have you shot since a young age? Did you grow up shooting?
Well, shooting rifles. I didn't start shooting pistols until
handguns?
I was like 21, 22.
Okay. So for me, when I started shooting pistols, right, I didn't know I was left-hand dominant because you just never really I don't know. I just never, there was nothing that needed me to know, right?
Right. It's like somebody throws you a hockey stick. You have no idea which way you're going to do with it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so
what is this piece of crap?
So when I started
weird
shooting,
golf club.
I just assumed I was right-eye dominant because most people are.
Yeah.
And so then I was shooting horribly. Like I went with my father-in-law. My father-in-law, he like taught me how to shoot for very first time. And he would say things that would like, you knew that he was trying to be nice, but you were horrible at it. He's like, yeah, you'll get there. And it's like, oh, okay. And he was like,
nice way of you suck at this.
and he was like, oh, you hit the target. And it was like, yeah, but the target's like 3 feet wide. Like, you mean like, yeah, okay, whatever. And so like, then when I figured out I was actually left-hand dominant, I actually ended up being like a really good shot. And then I ended up being really successful at everything that I, did. So it's really important. That's why I just didn't know if it was like an immediate thing for you. You just knew. Like, did you go through a process when you started shooting pistols, or no?
No,
You
well,
just kind of knew.
I mean, as a rifle, like growing up deer hunting and stuff, my dad just handed me a right-handed rifle, and he was like, "Shoot the damn thing!" And it was a bolt action 30-06, and you had no choice but you shoot it right-handed, right? So I have no idea if I would have done it differently or not, but I just pulled it up, right eye, right shoulder, and started shooting.
Yep.
When somebody handed me a pistol, very weird. I do the same thing with a pistol when I first grabbed one as I do with a knife and a fork still to this day. If I pick up a knife and a fork, I'll pass them between hand and hand like 3 or 4 times where I figure out which hand I'm going to use which one in, because I don't know. Like it just messes with my head. And sometimes I'll use my right hand with my fork and my left hand with my knife, and sometimes it's the opposite. It was the same thing when I first grabbed a pistol. I kind of went back and forth, and then I didn't know which eye to use. Yeah. And then somebody told me, you take both hands, put them straight out in front of you, and you make a diamond with your thumb and your forefingers.
Yeah.
Isosceles,
right?
Yeah, and you pull it back as you're looking through it, and it gives you your dominant eye. Yeah. And the instructor that I was with, he's like, "So which dominant eye are you?" I was like, "I'm left." He's like, "So which way do you shoot?" It's like, "Right." He's like, "So which eye do you shoot with?" I was like, "I guess my left." He's like, "No, right." I was like,
no, that's not,
like, wait a minute.
No, that's not what I said.
That's not how that works.
But it's this one. He's like, it's going to be your right no matter what. If you shoot right-handed, you're going to shoot with your right
that's
eye,
not true,
period.
Though, right?
Yeah, and that's just the way he told me. And I was like, well, all right. And I was like, all right, well, what point do I close one eye and I just shoot with my right eye? He's like, 15 yards and in, you shoot with 2 eyes open no matter what.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, all right, which is true, right?
Yeah,
but try shooting with your non-dominant eye with 2 eyes open, and
with
tell
like
me how
at
that
25 yards, like when you're qualifying, it's like for me, like when I did my qualification, you'd shoot at 25 yards. Like, oh, bro, I'm closing an eye. I don't know. I don't care what you're saying. Especially when my right eye is like done for. Like I can't see pretty much anything out of it. It's just pretty much blurry. Then my left eye compensates for everything. So shooting, it's really important that either I close an eye, or if I'm close enough, you start to get that muscle memory when you're shooting that you don't even have to like look and see your sights, right? It's all muscle memory of your arms coming up. But my left eye dominant, man, I was trying everything I could to like focus with my right eye when I first started. And it was like, ugh, especially my father-in-law, who's been in law enforcement for 35 years. When he was in law enforcement, they were teaching Weaver, which the Weaver position, if you don't know, it's like when you see in most movies still, which is very interesting, that's like you're canted one way and you have your arm up and you're like this. Nobody shoots like
Jesse
that.
P made fun of me for that.
Yeah, don't do that. If you're shooting a firearm, don't shoot Weaver. You shoot isosceles and you just come up straight. You have your arms up. You're square.
I feel so awkward trying to shoot like that.
Well, basically the way it goes, and with it,
sideways.
Nick does a kill shot.
That's
He
a
does
kill
the
shot.
canted.
The best way to think about it is like, and I have no freaking idea how we got off on this line of subject. But,
It's okay.
But anything that you do in an athletic stance, whether it's golf, whether it's football, baseball. Like if you stand up to the plate in a baseball, in baseball you have your dominant foot, which would be your right foot if you're right-handed, just slightly back, right? Yeah. And it's the same thing in any other sport. If you're a lineman on the line, if you're lining up in football, golf, anything, your dominant foot is going to be slightly back. It's the same thing when it comes to shooting. You're going to want to have that dominant foot slightly back, your shoulder square, and bring it up in that isosceles triangle like Jess was saying.
Yeah.
So you're not squared off.
No, you are, but your feet are.
Your
just
shoulders
slightly
are square,
off.
but your
shoulders
feet are in an
square.
athletic position.
Maybe that's why I feel awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
That's why I just shoot a 12 gauge.
Yeah.
just
Sawed
awkward.
off.
You
saw
just
it off.
blast it in the air.
Sideways.
Just come off on the balcony, start blasting.
Sideways.
One in each hand. Duke Nukem.
Scattergun.
Scattergun.
He's
All
like,
right, let's get back on the freaking subject here. Jesus.
Yeah, I
Well,
got
hey,
back here and you're
Thanksgiving's
just
coming
talking
up.
about all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving's coming up, everybody. And we are smoking turkeys. At least I'm smoking a turkey. I assume Jesse's smoking a turkey.
Damn
Is that
right.
true? Yeah. Brandon, are you smoking a turkey for the first time? Are you?
I don't know.
No, I was going to say a joke, but that would have been too. Nick knew exactly what joke I was going to say. If you ever smoked a turkey, it's quite sexual anyway, so it's okay when you're preparing it. So, Brandon, are
Save
you?
the neck for me, Clark.
She's a beaut.
Are you smoking a turkey this year, Brandon?
Probably not. I don't know.
What?
We're not having like our family Thanksgiving until the week after anyway, or the weekend after, and
What?
I don't know.
That's because it's illegal.
Yeah.
It is.
Because in
Everything's illegal.
California.
No, I am
California.
not. Governor Newsom.
Dude, you just bought a damn smoker, and turkey
gotta smoke
turkey
a
season's
turkey.
coming up.
I don't
You
even
gotta smoke
like
a turkey.
turkey that much. Though.
Eve, go
That's the
buy a
problem.
turkey. They're not that
Did
expensive.
you just say you don't eat turkey that much?
My phone just went into weird emergency Chinese letters. I don't know what.
That's
that
because
was
you
about.
said nuisance.
Yeah, I was like, okay. Shit just got real.
That's exactly why.
It's like, you are cut off, sir. Swamp will be at
You're
your
now
door
being
in 30
intercepted,
seconds.
Brandon.
Brandon, you gotta smoke a turkey. You have a smoker now. It is Thanksgiving time. Even if you're meeting the next week, go buy a small turkey to have with you, your girlfriend, and your mom. Man,
Go buy a damn
smoke
turkey
one.
breast.
All right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He's like, I was just gonna go to Walmart and buy those rotisserie chickens
how I got.
for
Hey,
$4.50.
those are delicious.
They're set out at 10 a.m.
I'm not gonna lie. I buy those quite often to chop them up for Mexican food, but whatever.
Chicken.
Smells
Nikki,
good.
do you own a smoker?
I've got a couple pipes.
It's gonna take a while.
Just on the weekend when the kids are sleeping.
That's right. After 8 p.m.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I do not have a smoker. I have a gas grill, and that's it. I'm not a smoking man.
Don't
we
hang
can
around these
accomplish
two very
a
long, or
turkey
you'll end
cook
up
on a
in
gas
debt.
grill. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you can. I won't.
Is it the patience for it? You just can't. You just
No,
like
it's- Well, maybe it is a little bit of the patience because I totally respect anybody that is willing to put in the time and effort that goes into a good smoked meat. Because
Me too,
I
'cause I don't do
love, I love barbecue. Wait, what?
I said me too because I don't do that.
Right.
I turn on the
Says the man
Traeger
with
and
the
let
Traeger.
it run for a couple
the
hours.
dude,
and hope for the
Traeger's
best.
With
the
a Traeger.
effort level, the time. I'm totally with you. The effort level is pretty low when it comes to a Traeger. You order a
Yeah.
Traeger, man. It's pretty. You can just throw it on there, and it's pretty hard to burn it or overcook it to
Yeah.
the point where, unless you're Jesse and you just like it straight raw. You just like a little bit of char on the outside, and you cut it up and eat it. But like, it's really hard to overcook it to the point where you're like, this is unedible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I
Okay,
just haven't
so
ever been on board with like thinking that far ahead.
me neither.
Oh, with food in general.
Yeah, with food in general.
Now, do
I
you
mean, like,
do you
Is that why
cook
you made that
in house?
sound?
I mean, do you eat? Do you all cook or do you eat out a lot?
no, we cook a lot, but
Okay,
my wife
just-
handles most of the menu for the week.
Oh, God bless
Like,
her.
so she's a nurse and she works weekends, so she's on 7A,
she a redhead?
7P. No, she's a brunette.
Okay.
Oh,
My wife's a nurse. She's also does not cook at all. But
Oh, really?
She's the
Jess
redhead.
also does not cook at all.
my wife cooks. She does cook.
The redhead must be the deciding factor.
I was kidding.
It's not the common denominator.
But she works
Yeah.
on weekends, and so when I have the kids, we're lucky enough that both of our folks live in town, or actually within 10 miles of us. So on the weekends, the three of my kids will either split up and go to either of their places or all of their places, or a combination of whatever. I mean, it's endless. You can do what are those, a pundit square or punit square for how many combinations you can have kids going to grandparents' houses.
Yeah.
But
I'm not smart enough for all that, but I have the same situation, and my kids just scatter. That's what we just call them, scattering.
Right, it's great. But however, when that scattering is over, it's always Sunday at lunchtime, and always about 11:30. My oldest daughter, who's about to turn 7, she's like, "Dad, what's for lunch?" And I'm always like, I have no idea. So I'm not one to be like, I'm going to set this brisket out for 24 hours. I ain't going to do that.
Briskets take prep. Like, that's right. If you're going to do a brisket, man,
that's a weekend commitment.
Yeah. You're prepping like for the whole week. You're like, okay, this weekend I'm doing a brisket. And it could, first of all, it takes a ton of money, right? Like, it's expensive. So when you do a brisket, you want it to go well, because you just spent, upwards of $70-$80 on a freaking thing of meat, depending on how big you got, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why on the West Coast, apparently you guys don't have it. We have tri-tip, which is like the poor man's
No, we don't
brisket.
do that crap here.
No, thank you, Nick.
You say crap. You say no. Don't even
California bull crap.
Don't act like you agree with that. You said you love tri-tip. Don't even.
It was good.
Yes, it's very good.
It's fine, but it's some California bull crap when people can't figure out how to really when they can't really barbecue.
How dare you insult it like that?
It's like when you have more time to cook a steak, but not enough time to cook a brisket.
That's right.
That's right up my alley.
It's called tri-tip. Tri-tip.
Anyway, yeah, if you do a brisket, you're prepping the whole weekend for it. But like a lot of the stuff, even ribs, you can go buy ribs one day. Like the next day, you're only spending, it's a 6-hour cook, but really only spending the prep time, which is like 10 minutes, getting it lathered up, whatever. You're throwing it on. Then after 3 hours, you take it off, you foil it, you throw it back on. It's not like a ton of work once you actually get into it, but the time frame, I think, scares a lot of people. I don't know.
Yeah, me included.
Yeah. I think you're like, I don't know. But actually, for me, I work from home now, right? So when I work from home, it's pretty easy. Like, if in the morning I'm like, my wife texts me always from work. She's working, she's teaching. She texts me like, "Hey, what do you want for dinner?" And I'm like, "Oh man, maybe I should pull something out." And so I go get like steaks out or something like that, and that's easy. But if not, then it's the period of time that you have to actually cook that scares people. I don't think it's actually that hard. I think it's pretty easy, especially with a Traeger. If you have Wi-Fi hooked up, which, to be honest, I don't ever use the Wi-Fi. I don't think Jesse does either.
I don't either. No.
Time to time, not often.
I did at first, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm walking out there anyways.
Yeah, we have Wi-Fi to grow.
Your grill has freaking Wi-Fi?
How do you not know this? Okay, let's learn you right now. Go ahead, Jesse.
Somebody educate me on this, because I don't know anything about at Traegers.
So we're using
other than everybody uses them.
So we're using the cheater Traegers.
Now have them. Has Wi-Fi.
So we're using the cheater Traegers, which is a pellet grill. So we use compressed woods into pellets, which is all they're all universal. Yeah. So they're all the same size, and it cooks even, and you can keep up temp just like an oven, right? Well, they also have Wi-Fi inside of them now. So as long as your grill can hook up to the Wi-Fi in your home, then your phone can connect to them via the app. And with that app, anywhere anywhere your cell phone can pick up service, you can also control your grill.
Yeah.
So you can pull up your app.
However,
you can't turn it off. You have to be there to turn it on. That's
you have to physically be able to turn it on, because they don't. I'm sure it's safety reasons or whatever.
Yeah,
but
sure. That's what
most of the time, my wife can handle that part. She can pop it open, hit the turn the temperature, hit start, we're good to go.
Right.
And then you can put the probe into the machine and then into your meat. And you can monitor on your phone the temperature of your grill, also the temperature of your meat. And then you can set it for an alarm. So like I cooked bacon wrapped tenderloins tonight, pork tenderloins.
Ooh,
and
sounds delicious.
Threw a thermometer in the tenderloin, set my probe to 140 because I want a done temperature of 145. And with carryover, 5-degree temperature, I wanted to pull off about right then. So set my smoker to 225 and I let them babies roll, right? Well, my thermometer hit 140 and I was across the street helping my neighbor move some cabinets over and I couldn't get to him quick enough, right? But my phone told me that my meat hit the temperature I wanted it to. So I pulled up my phone and hit keep warm. So what it's going to do is lower the temperature to my smoker to a temperature that's low enough to keep my meat warm and to let it rest until I get home and want to eat.
I feel like this takes all the romance out of
100%
actually
agree.
knowing how to barbecue.
No. The
It
romance
makes it
is
good.
putting the meat in your mouth, bro. Like any kind of romance. That's exactly what it is.
Not only
Nick,
that,
Nick, before I
now
got
they
this
have,
thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so now they have an app where it has thousands of recipes, and you can plug that in and say, I want to cook this, and it'll have like a schedule, and so it'll automatically change the temperature of the smoker to the recipe
Yes.
Yeah.
for whatever
If
you're
you
doing.
Dude, it's fantastic.
And you don't have to do anything.
So you're
Now-
like basically like spark notes of how to cook.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
If it was any harder, I definitely wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I need to get one of these things.
No,
Yeah,
it's good.
it's-
It's fantastic. As
It's
long
like
as you can
working
turn
an
it
oven
on.
with Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Dude, I've cooked banana bread on it. I know that people cook bacon wrapped Oreos, which we've
I do
talked about
breakfast
multiple
casseroles
times.
on mine all the time.
Dude, I've done biscuits. Okay, first of all, smoked biscuits and gravy is the best thing in the world. So I've done that multiple times on it. It's fantastic. It's super easy to use. God, how are we not sponsored by Traeger already with our 30 followers, bro?
I tag them all the time, and they just like see it. and
No,
don't care.
it's really awesome. So, but when it comes to turkey, since it's the Thanksgiving special, right?
Yeah.
So, what do you usually do, Jesse? What do you usually like? Do you brine it for like 12 hours and then
Wait,
put
hold
it
on.
on?
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Do you guys have the Yeti bucket?
No, don't care
No.
about it.
Okay, because that's all I see on the Meat Church Facebook
No,
group
it's a-
thing is
it's a
people
shit ton of
posting
money for no
about the
reason.
bucket and then people
Yeti?
bitching about how much
no,
the
no.
bucket
No.
costs.
You want
That's all
to
I
talk
see
about
now.
You want to talk
Like,
about
what's a
brining,
$40
Jesse?
bucket? Why do I
Bro,
care? Blah,
Here.
blah,
I went to
blah.
Here.
Walmart. I bought a $20 cooler and pulled the inside of it out, and I used that.
It's
To brine?
literally just a
Yeah.
bucket.
Yeah.
It's just a bucket,
So,
and
here,
but it
Jesse.
goes down into the cooler, and I can keep it cold or whatever else.
Just
I
use a
want.
Homer bucket.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about like smoking a turkey. So Jesse,
Okay.
how do you start smoking a turkey? So you start with brining it, right? So you make the brine, right?
Yeah,
So,
I
so
don't
I
even
make
know
the
what
brine
brining
first.
is. So
okay,
let's
so explain what
go
brining
brining
even
is.
further back.
Okay, so brining
Marinade.
is.
Yeah, I get the concept. I just don't understand like what it is.
Well,
Like,
hang
what's
tight,
the difference
I'm
in
gonna learn
marinating
you a
and
thing or
brining?
two. All right, just stand by. So brining is basically
Well, let me get
you're
my
gonna
notes
make
out.
a saltwater solution that is greater salt content than the meat itself, and it's going to use osmosis to bring the outer water into the inside of the meat. So
Big word.
if you make the solution with a greater salt content than the meat itself, whatever flavor and everything else you have on the outside and in that water itself is going to bring it into the meat and equalize the salt content both in the meat and the outside using osmosis. All right. So when you make that brine,
That's how I tried to learn in college.
Salted yourself?
so when I make a turkey
Osmosis,
brine,
you moron.
osmosis.
he says salted yourself. Out of all that, that's what he chose to understand. He's like, yeah, so you just threw salt on your body and you thought you'd learn?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I was assaulted a few times.
So what you want to do is make Jesus.
Well, that took a left turn.
Yeah, I love it.
It was a weird fraternity, okay?
So what you want to do is make your water solution saltier than, and not too salty, but saltier than your meat, so that and have flavor in that salt water. So, like with my turkey, I'll put in it. It'll be like a half a gallon of hot tap water, some dark brown sugar, some kosher salt. I guess to that amount, I have like a cup and a half of kosher salt. I'll throw some allspice in there, also some Old Bay seasoning, and a few other
Apples.
things.
You do
Apples, lemons,
onions.
yeah, onions, and I get that water really flavor. Like I want that flavor, And then when I put my turkey in, it's going to pull all that flavor to the inside of the meat all the way to the bone. So when you cut, that turkey's cooked and done, not only is it going to have moisture all the way through to the bone, but it's also going to have that flavor all the way to the bone. And osmosis is what brings it in.
Yeah. So what brining is, though, so you basically make that solvent, right? So like, or whatever it would be called, I don't know. So the brine, you make the brine. So you boil the water, you put all this stuff in, right? Then you cool it. So you throw a bunch of ice in it because you don't want to put like your turkey that's frozen or not.
You
frozen,
don't want to cook it.
Yeah. So you don't want to cook it. You want it to be lukewarm, right? So you throw a bunch of ice in there, but and so once that's all in there, you put it into a bag. I always double bag it, and I double bag it and then put the turkey in.
How many kids you got, Jesse?
I got 3.
Yeah,
Why? Just checking.
Not always practice.
I was never good at that until after I got.
You can't pull out of a driveway.
Until after I got fixed, and then I learned. But so you double bag it, you tie it off, and you put it in a cooler, right? And you do it overnight. So usually I do 12 to 16 hours, depending on how long you want to do it. You make it the night before. You brine your turkey. You put it in. Now you did it. That's a very like classic Thanksgiving turkey. This year, I'm actually going to do more of a maple bourbon Thanksgiving turkey because I made that around.
You had me at bourbon.
Yeah, dude, around one of the holidays, I made a maple bourbon turkey, and it was the best turkey I've ever had. So I'm going to make it again. I mean,
Jesse, just to stop you real quick, do you use a website that you found brine, or do you have one that you made yourself?
So I believe the one I got from I always like use a variation of it, right? So,
yeah, agreed. I do the same thing.
I take an idea and I'm like, oh, I think this sounds good too. So I'll throw certain things in or take some stuff away. I think I used Hey Girl Hey. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but if you go to her website,
no, but this tells it. This is a
Hey Girl Hey.
This is a tell of two stories, by the way.
Not Hey Girl Hey, Hey Grill Hey. So that's what she. Oh my that's God. Why she does it.
Two different accounts.
Yeah,
completely different accounts.
She's awesome though. She just got
Google the first one.
This girl just got this lady.
Ruh-roh.
This lady's awesome, and she just got like a big TV deal on like the Food Network and stuff. But it's Hey Grill Hey, and she's here in Utah. But she's awesome, and all she does is food blog. That's her whole thing. But it's a maple bourbon thing, and it's fantastic. I believe it was her. It could I could be wrong, but.
We're doing the same thing this year, actually. We're going to do a maple bourbon turkey, but we're not going to do any maple or turkey.
Just straight bourbon.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to pair that with my maple bourbon turkey, just so we're quick.
Right.
It's going to have a double bourbon.
Yeah.
Double bourbon.
But it's great. So the classic turkey that he's talking about, the Thanksgiving turkey, that's what you do. You do the allspice, the onions, the carrots, the apples. You throw that all in. And you just it's really this like brown. It doesn't look very pleasing. It smells amazing though when you're freaking cooking it, huh?
Yeah.
When you're making that brine, you're like, oh, this smells exactly like Thanksgiving. You throw that in.
So have you made this one before?
The one you're talking about? Or the maple
bourbon?
No,
yours.
No, the maple bourbon made. I think I made it on New Year's. I can't remember. It was.
So is it more of a sweeter?
Yeah.
Than spicier? Okay.
No, it's sweet, especially with the maple, right? Like it's very sweet. You don't put. So I don't know how after you brine it, you take it out, right? Like for a regular Thanksgiving one. For the maple one, I spatchcocked it. So if you know what a spatchcock it is, you actually take out the spine of the turkey.
Yeah. I've been in trouble for that before.
I believe that actually. So you spatchcock it, you take out the spine, and you lay it flat, and it makes the turkey look real dirty. You know what I mean? And you just like lay it all flat out like
exactly.
this.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So the legs are all spread out, but what it does is when you spatchcock it, it actually cooks even across the entire turkey. So when you're smoking it, it's not smoking and cooking the bottom more than the top. It's laid out flat more, it's awesome because it cooks actually faster this way.
Do you know your minutes per pound on that?
Dude, I'd have to look it up. I wish I was
curious.
I got prepared before this podcast, but I didn't.
I've done one like that, and it was really good because I needed it done quicker than normal. And I want to say that it was about half of what you would normally do a turkey in.
Yep.
And it was good. It was really, really good.
Yeah, turkeys take
like the
about
spatchcock.
4 hours, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours. It's something close to that. So if you got to prepare,
Seems
You're
like
looking at
not
about
enough.
45 minutes per pound.
yeah. Oh, is that what? No, that's too far.
Per pound?
No, that's
No.
too much.
No, I'm telling you. If you
no.
cook it slow enough, no.
Dude, okay, so
It's not.
I did my Thanksgiving turkey. I will.
Yeah.
Maybe you do it different, but I did my Thanksgiving turkey. I believe it was like, I want to say 5 hours, right? And it was fantastic. But it was like, I believe it was close to 20-pound turkey. It was absolutely fantastic. It was
Why
moist.
are you cooking a 20-pound turkey?
Well,
Well, that's
dude,
what I was
we
going to say.
had-
Like,
we
don't
had
they make like
35 people
20
at
and
my
30
house.
pound turkeys?
No,
How are you
but
gonna
it's-
It was
but it's-
horrible. We had
But if you
35
ask
people.
me, it's better to cook 2 12-pound turkeys than a 20-pound turkey.
Oh, see, but 20-pound turkey, you can cook even though. I think if you get, I mean, like for me, like we had the 120-pound turkey, and I had, well, this was back last year. I didn't have my 780, which was the bigger Traeger. I had the Pro 22, which is a little bit smaller. It can only
Right.
fit one turkey. You got to take the rack out. It fits the entire thing. So I only could do one. My wife bought 2, and that's why I ended up doing another one in New Year's. That's the only reason I did the maple bourbon one, and I'm going to talk to my wife, but I want to do the maple bourbon one again, even though it's not like Thanksgiving. It doesn't, taste like stuffing or whatever it is.
The look on Nick's face right now is why the hell did I sign up for this?
I mean, all I know is we eat at 2:00 at 5:30, and then we eat again at 7.
Snacking in between.
But
so with a 20-pound turkey, and
Yeah.
you spatchcock that 20-pound turkey, everything came out even and good, right?
oh, okay. So that one was, I think, 17 pounds, which is still pretty close. But yeah, it came out perfectly even. It was better than the Thanksgiving turkey. It was fantastic. The Thanksgiving turkey's really good when it comes to the skin too, which the bourbon one was really good too, but it was very different. Like when you take out, after you brine, do you separate the skin and the meat and you like freaking lather that thing up? And it feels really weird and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go in with the breast is and stuff, and I just make sure I like.
Nick's face is like, he's like,
You gotta separate those membranes, and you gotta
What
get that
channel am
rubber.
I on? You guys got scrambly for a second.
It's like this went from like gun stances to like separating membranes on turkeys.
Yeah.
You idiots.
No, but you gotta lather that up with the garlic butter. You separate the skin. It's a process. When you look it up online, you start watching videos, you're like, oh, I gotta spend like a good amount of my time on Thanksgiving doing this. But it's really worth it. I've never liked turkey. Before I smoked it last year, I've really never liked turkey. Because you have to smother
No,
it.
it's because your grandfather, like mine, cooked it in a broiler in the oven for until the red dot popped out.
3 weeks.
That's exactly what it is. That stupid red dot pin that pops out. Yep.
That means nothing at all. And you're like, golly, no, it's terrible.
Yeah. So
terrible.
that's why
I had deep fried turkey once that was pretty amazing.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, I have that every year, too.
Let's be
It's good.
fair. Anything
Yeah.
deep fried is amazing.
Yeah.
You can deep fry
We
it.
That keeps
deep
the
fry
fire
turkey
departments
every
in
year.
business around here.
You drop a fully frozen turkey into a boiling hot oil, and it's
That's
like an
right.
explosion waiting to happen.
And nobody knows how to do that volume calculation of how much meat they're putting in that oil.
It boils over.
It's always going right over. That's
That's
a
the
fire.
only thing that keeps the fire department in business, other than smoking tobacco in Nick's part of the country.
That's right.
That and moonshine.
Right. That's right.
It's mostly
We don't have
meth
too
labs
big of a
where I
moonshine
live.
problem around here. Everything's pretty much just
Legal.
legal bourbon.
You just go to the store and buy it. Nobody cares.
Yeah, we just go to 7-Eleven. It's fine.
I was gonna say it's funny that you voted in to have a wet county, and then Oregon's like, "Oh, you want heroin? That's fine. Vote that in.
Drugs, it's cool. It's fine.
Great. Well,
Do
now
not.
we've taken a whole nother turn, Brandon. Thank you. We were
I
on
had
turkeys,
to.
now we're on
I
heroin.
had to. I saw something on Facebook, and it was like, Oregon, the state that outlawed straws, but crack's okay now. That must be frustrating.
Yeah. You just can't
Save the
use a
turtles,
straw
screw the
with
humans.
crack.
Yeah, exactly.
If you use a straw, it's got to be biodegradable. It's got to be one of those
Right.
paper
Right.
ones that.
They're like, no straws. Now you can't use your drinks.
It's got to be a paper crack straw.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, last year was the first year I've ever.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Question.
So I'm on the. I'm gonna sound real dumb. So what's the difference?
There's no dumb question, Brandon.
No,
that's not true.
I ask them all the
Yeah,
time.
I'm about to hear one.
Yeah, exactly. So you always talk about kosher salt. What's the difference in just
That's all
One's Jewish.
kosher? I'm aware of that. I know it's like bigger chunks.
It's
or whatever,
Jewish,
right?
man.
Whatever. So why do you cook with it over like sea salt or regular salt?
You can do
Table
both.
salt.
It doesn't really matter. I use sea salt
It's
all
just
the
a
time.
coarser. It's a coarser grain salt. And
Do you use the
it's-
pink salt?
I do. The Himalayan salt.
I don't.
I do
have
because
that stuff,
we've
too.
done
I'm
keto.
like, I don't know, it all
We've
tastes
done
like
keto
freaking
multiple
salt.
times, and they always call for it. I don't know why, but I actually like it.
Because it
well.
costs more.
Yeah, that's it for
Yeah.
real. But I've never noticed the difference between regular salt and the Himalayan salt. But
I only use kosher salt.
There is a difference between like iodine salt and kosher salt.
Oh, 100%. Kosher salt
I
is
don't know
so
what it
much
is.
better.
Yeah, there's something significantly different in the way they process iodine
Yeah.
table salt versus kosher salt, though.
yeah,
And then I get like the old people at my house every Thanksgiving, and everyone's like, they're like looking for the salt and pepper shakers, but all I have out is like the canister with kosher salt
yeah.
that you have to pinch and put out, and then the grinder for the pepper. I was like, what is
Yeah.
this shit? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, get out of the campgrounds, damn it. Put your finger in there
right.
and get the salt out and sprinkle it on your
can't do
stuff.
that. It's
It's
COVID-19 season, bro.
Like, I don't care about COVID. Like, you gotta get salt.
I'm so far out of it.
Salt,
I have
COVID. Come on now.
Yeah,
I have no idea
salt
what you're
outweighs
talking
COVID
about.
by 1,000%. If you're at my damn house, you're gonna use the damn
Salt actually
kosher
kills
salt.
COVID.
I have no idea. So you have salt that you sprinkle with your hand?
Yeah,
I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
that's what I
Have
do.
you never seen that Instagram profile where
I've
he does it
never-
off his elbow?
Salt
Yeah.
Salt Bay.
Yeah,
Salt
But
Bay.
I don't know. I didn't realize.
I mean,
that
I don't
was
go
like
off my
a
elbow,
thing that you-
Brandon.
I do.
It's that elbow grease that gives
Every
that
meal.
No, I've
flavor.
seen that a lot, but I didn't know that like people had that in their house. And that's what
I'm
we
gonna post a
used.
picture of it tomorrow.
Yeah,
No,
I've got a
have
salt cellar upstairs that I made. It's literally just a cube.
So confused.
I think it was two blocks of ash that I glued together, and then took a 1.5-inch Forstner bit and just drilled out like almost 9/10 of the way through.
Did you just say a salt cellar?
And then you just
Yeah, that's what it's called.
so then you just fill it with salt and
can't-
people can just
I
pick
can't.
out of it.
I can't be on here
you
anymore.
just-
It was good talking to you guys. I'll see you later.
it's called
I
a
have
salt
no-
cellar.
He's like,
I
he's
use a
like, so you,
Tupperware thing, but
so
I've
far
never
gone.
heard of that, Nick, and I'm making that my next YouTube video.
Brandon's like,
What,
so
salt
you,
cellar?
Brandon's like, so you have a basement in your house that's just filled with salt? Is that what you're saying?
we keep the yeah, we keep
There's
the
salt. There's salt and wine down
Underground.
there.
It's chilled.
There's
salt,
salt.
is underground.
Is
There's salt. There's wine, and that's where you hide from tornadoes.
there
I'm
humidity
surprised
control?
Mullen
in
doesn't
it?
know more. He's in the freaking salt kingdom.
Who?
He's a salt cellar.
You.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
That's,
know,
that's a little
Salt
south.
Lake.
Yeah, that's a
You
little
know,
south.
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
Salt Lake.
Yeah. That lake is actually
Salt
8
flat.
times saltier than the ocean, if you didn't know.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was
Really?
like, I've been
Yep.
looking at houses everywhere, and so I was like looking
Yeah,
at houses
nobody's-
over there, and I was like, oh, I wonder what kind of fish are in Salt Lake. Like
The only
none.
No, there's
At
only
all.
one, and it's like this tiny little shrimp that's like this
Yeah.
big.
Dead fish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
I read
nothing
that.
in there.
And
Nobody
I guess
actually.
they sell. It's like krill or something.
Yeah, nobody puts boats in there because it'll destroy your boat.
Yeah.
It's so salty.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Really?
It's a
it's
giant. yeah, it's-
Massive.
Nobody. It's.
I guess that's why they call it Salt Lake.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
useless.
Great Salt Lake.
But you have the Bonneville Salt Flats where everyone
Right.
races, tries to get the highest land speed or whatever.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
than that, it's useless.
Yeah, but kosher salt is not useless, by the way.
No.
Sorry.
Good segue.
Keep getting
Perfect
off
for
on tangents
turkeys.
here.
Perfect for turkeys.
So wait.
That's the only thing I use.
So you said you smoke your turkey 45 minutes per pound?
It's a good roundabout. I mean, I smoke.
So
my
you
turkey
smoke
till
your-
it gets to a doneness.
No.
Like,
But you do for like 24 hours then? No, not that. It wouldn't be 24 hours, but like what? Like
It's
18
like a
hours?
100-pound turkey.
No. Your mouth is a little
Smoking
off.
Big Bird
I
over
went
here.
to a local public school and I was trying to do that math and I was all kinds of messed up.
Man, that Kentucky school system, man, it's rough.
It's Common Core.
I do everything in milliliters.
So wait. So you smoke it?
750 milliliters.
You smoke it for like what? At least 10, 12 hours?
Well, it's like 12 hours for a 12-pound turkey, right?
That's crazy.
So,
no, I smoked
I
mine.
don't, but I don't.
Yeah, I'm not doing a
spatchcock
turkey.
mine.
No, but the
spatchcock
first
it
one I
once.
didn't.
Too much.
No, the Thanksgiving
Too much
one I
time.
didn't, and I only smoked it for about 5 hours, and it was perfect.
But you have to. I have to preface this by saying that that's a roundabout, like, kind of get a configuration.
Yeah.
I try to have everything that I do done hours beforehand because I want it to rest half
Super
the time
long.
that it takes to cook it. Right?
Do you really?
And
Half the time?
half the time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I try to go every single thing that I cook. I
Damn.
try to go half the time of the cooking time.
So you smoke something for 6 hours. You're gonna leave it for another 3 hours just
4
to sit
hours.
there.
Yeah, 3 to 4 hours easily.
So
how
do you
do you
just
get it
turn
warm
your
again?
Traeger down to like a resting temp, or do you take it
when
completely
I-
out? You just put it in a
when
cooler.
I cook a butt or something like that, I take it, wrap it, and put it in a cooler.
God, see, I let
brisket, same way.
mine rest for about 45 minutes, and then we dig in. It's
No.
perfectly fine. That's
Hell
crazy.
no.
Why though?
You'll get a
Everybody-
whole different experience.
Really? Everybody says
Yes.
like 30 to 50. Well, depending on what it is, right? Like steaks, you don't have to let rest for. If you let it, let's say you smoke it for an hour, you don't need to let it rest for 30 minutes. You could let it rest for like 10 minutes, and you'd be fine with like a fillet, because it's not a lot
Right,
of
you'd
meat.
be fine, but you're not going to get the best.
So you think if you smoke it for an hour, you're gonna let it rest for 30 minutes?
30 minutes.
Oh damn, dude.
Isn't it
Yeah.
cold by
If you
then?
want to keep those, no.
Hey,
hell
we're
no,
trying to
but you
convince
gotta- no, you
we're
gotta-
trying to convince Nick Key to like buy Traeger, and you just keep making it worse, dude.
Look,
he
I'm a
looks
weirdo.
so
I've been doing this
confused,
shit
just
for like
me.
15
It's the
years. All
worst.
right.
He's like,
I
no,
made
no,
my
no.
own-
So
He's like,
what
I
you're
made my own
saying is
smoker out
I've
of
got
a
to start
drum.
working at 9 a.m. and then I can't eat until 11 p.m.
Yeah.
The next day.
yeah, that's accurate.
So this is what I'm saying. So like if I have a birthday party and like it's my daughter's birthday, right? And we're going to have 30 or 40 people over. I'm cooking 2 Boston butts and the birthday party is going to be at 2 p.m. I will cook that thing overnight. It'll be done by, I'm just throwing out estimates here, 7 or 8 in the morning. It's wrapped in foil. I will wrap it in towels, throw it in a cooler, and it'll sit there until the time that I pull it. And it'll be rocket hot and ready to go when I pull it out.
I will give you.
How hot is your rocket?
I kind of want to know that too, actually.
That's a good question.
It's the exact tempt of eating.
Hey,
room
touche.
Okay.
He's like, Jesse's like, on that note, I'm gonna go to the bedroom.
But it really is. It's like if you pull it out, then all the juices have had time to reabsorb into the meat, and you're gonna have the juiciest meat.
Yeah.
It's a lot of.
I just think
innuendos
it's.
here.
I think it's just. I think it's just a little like for me. Like as much as I think it's a little excessive. Like as in like
yeah, but would
I
you
don't.
rather be?
I've
But
never
have you
tried
done
it
be
it
like
though.
and
on that line?
there you
Would
go.
you rather be
You
on
gotta
that
try
line?
No,
it.
I
Yeah,
never tried it. Like when it comes to like,
try it,
because I
and then you
smoke
can
a
compare.
freaking like Boston butt or like a pork butt for freaking 8 hours, right? I usually let it rest for like an hour, which is still
No,
like
screw that shit.
no. But
gotta
most
get out
people
of it.
say
Yeah.
30 minutes and you're good to eat it and pull it, which
30
I
minutes.
have. Yeah, and I have pulled it at 30 minutes and it pulls easy and it's really juicy and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But I've let it for an hour. It's better. I've never let it go for another 4 hours or another 3
Dude,
hours.
I let it go 6 hours.
I mean, there's been times where I've been out.
I don't have
6
patience.
hours.
I've
Mullen's
ordered-
about to lose his shit.
I just
I'm not
don't have the
kidding. I'm not
patience for
lying.
that.
Yeah. But I mean,
No.
it's not the patience. It's the patience is like I cook it overnight, and
Yeah.
when it's done, it's done. Like meat
So,
is done. when
yeah,
it's done.
but so you
can't-
wake up at like 1 a.m, put it on, then go back to sleep.
Hell no! I throw it on before I go to bed at like 11, 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
What temperature are you cooking
Nope.
it at?
Yeah.
to
See,
have
I'm
to-
with,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
with
good
Nick.
to
let it
Nick's
do
like,
that long.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And
200,
No.
225.
I mean, I get angry if my meal takes longer than 30 minutes at a restaurant.
But I mean, I set the alarm for 165, and when it goes off, I get up and I wrap it, and
Yeah.
go back to bed if I need to. When it's done at 190, 195, I pull it off, wrap it in towel, throw it in the cooler, and that sucker will sit there for 6 hours and be ready to serve whenever you want to serve it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've let it sit there, and I'm not kidding, a Boston butt or two in a cooler for 6 to 8 hours and pulled it out, and that thing is perfect.
Yeah.
When you pull it
So
out.
it's wrapped in
Perfect.
foil. Do you wrap it in towels and put it in
Towels.
the cooler? Yeah, so
Yes.
do I. So do
I
I.
have a whole stack
works out.
of of barbecue towels in our closet.
I actually just use my kids' beach towels, and my wife gets pissed every single time. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, I don't know, just use them. And I'm like, okay. And she's mad, even though she tells me to use them anyway. And I'm like, what do you want me to do?
I cooked those pork tenderloins wrapped in bacon tonight, and I pulled them off the grill. I tinted them with aluminum foil on the cutting board and made them sit there, and everybody just stared at them. For like an hour.
What's the point of the tinting thing?
So it
keeps the heat in.
Yeah, keep heat.
Gets you excited.
But what's the difference in just like wrapping it or putting a tint? I don't understand the tint thing.
Well, if you wrap it, it can continue to cook. I pull it at a temperature I don't want it to continue to cook at. Yeah. Right.
So you want to maintain.
If I do pull it at a temp. Yeah, if it's wrapped and I pull it, then I'm going to pull it early so that the carry through gets to the point I want it to be at.
So the tent, but it's still fully sealed.
It's kind of. I mean, it's on a cutting board, and I pull out aluminum foil and just like push down on it on around all the edges, but I don't like seal it. Does that make sense?
The middle's like up.
No. When I say tent, I don't mean like. I don't mean like I'm putting like a.
So when it's tented, you mean the middle's just up? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
that's what you just
like
asked.
a tent.
It's like no, Brandon. It's a different kind of tent. Okay, get your mind out of the cutter. Different kind of teepee. He's like, so when you wake up in the morning, you're saying it's tented. No. It's like, no, Brandon,
like a camping tent, you jackass.
Every morning when I make my barbecue,
right?
I don't have a damn stick in the middle. I'm just saying that, like, I don't.
I hate you all.
No, that's like
there's an air gap.
So it's like when
there's an air gap.
Yeah.
Brandon, the questions are amazing because they're at least
one
15,
other person.
There's like 15 out of 25 of our listeners are, think of the same thing. So
right. And that's the only reason I'm asking this on the podcast, putting my stupidity out there for you listeners.
No. I like it. That's okay.
That's a good cover.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just do it in the group text, so only 2 people knew I was stupid.
So basically, when I say tinting, I'm not. So when you're done with the plate and you want to keep it warm, like you make a plate for somebody, you take the aluminum foil and you wrap it around the plate, around to the underneath, right? When I'm doing something like that, I'll put it on the cutting board and I'll just press down on top of the meat so that it's keeping the heat in, but I'm not cooking it even anymore. So I don't take the edges and roll it over underneath the cutting board. I just let it sit on top of it. Does that make sense?
I don't know why my brain went to like I never seen it. My friend, when I did that tri-tip, my friend was like, "Oh, make sure you tint it or whatever." And I was like, "Okay." Like, I'm like, "What does that mean?" He's like, "Oh, just make a tent out of the tinfoil." And so I'm like,
"I've only got a 3-man tent. Is that okay?"
so I put the middle up higher. I'm like, I don't know, maybe it's like the freaking no.
Brandon's over like origami trying to make shit.
Traeger's inside of a tent.
I was never in the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, I had
it's him and his meat in a tent.
Meat skewers.
That's
like
the Boy Scouts.
While we're on that topic, my boss let me bring his meat home, just so you know.
Oh yeah. So did you get what did he? Because he has a cow, right? He got a cow, right?
His fiance's like mom and stepdad raised cows.
How much did you get to take home?
He brought me like a T-bone, 2 ribeyes, and like a bunch of hamburger. But then he told me that the hamburger is actually made out of like steak meat.
Yeah, it's like it's out of the better meat.
Good. Yeah. I'm like, what? Why would you do that? And he's like, do you know how many steaks we get?
Yeah,
I was like,
it's crazy.
He's like, you can only eat so many steaks.
I got a quarter.
Like, people make brisket burgers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like, so we just started like any of the like New York steaks or like cheaper steaks. He's like, we just turn them into hamburger.
By the way, I started watching the great. I think Brandon's actually recommended it. The Great American. Was it Barbecue Challenge or whatever it is?
I have to.
American Barbecue Showdown.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, I watched the whole thing, dude. It's fantastic.
Wait, is that the one where they wear this where they wear the same clothes every episode?
Yes, and you're like, what is going on here?
Yeah,
I did notice that.
That's
It's so screwed up.
Yeah, but they do it over like
heck?
5 days, right? The whole thing's over like
Yeah.
a 5-day period.
Take a shower, bro.
I said that same thing. I was like,
was
that's
We
like,
the
smoked this weed
same
for 12
crap
hours.
that
We're
they
like,
do.
you've been wearing that shit for 32 hours.
There's only like a couple of them that have different clothes.
Yeah.
But like Rutledge, same clothes every time.
All of them.
No, yeah. Almost all of them have the same exact clothes every single time, and I'm like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Like, what's
Yeah.
going on here? Like,
Doesn't make
Especially
sense.
how much a couple of those dudes were sweating.
oh, I know,
Yeah.
bad.
Okay.
But
There's a lot of sweat
But the
going on.
food, the
Yeah.
food made in that show is absolutely like it looked so freaking good. And the guy made it was a brisket burger, and it looked
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
And they said it was fantastic. Like, so I have a quarter of a beef in my freezer, and some of those patties are brisket burgers. Like, they're like the
Wait, did you just say a quarter of a beef?
yeah, that's
yeah,
how they
and
sell
I
'em.
feel like now you probably have
Is
about
that
an eighth of
proper-
beef.
Yeah, that's actually
proper
Quarter of a-
terminology?
yeah, that
Quarter of
is.
a cow.
No, it's quarter of a beef.
Oh.
That's how they sell them.
Yeah.
Is quarter of a
you
beef.
said
Even
quarter
I've
of
heard
a beef?
that,
Yep.
Jesse.
Quarter
Come
of a
on.
beef. So that's how they
sell
sell them when
half-
when
that's
you go to the
interesting.
butcher.
Quarter beef.
You say like so we
Well-
trust me. We butchered an entire cow, sold a bunch of it, kept a bunch of it, and when we sold
Yeah.
it, you have to get it ordered into sections of the beef. But that's how at least the butcher we went to. That's how they use
Yeah, I've
terminology.
heard that.
I've never heard it called a beef.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very
funny.
that's what I thought. I thought it
I've
was
heard
weird too.
that.
I was like, I assume it's just a cow, but like,
Yeah.
no, it's a
No.
beef. Once you get it cut and it's slaughtered, it's a beef.
Well,
now. And so it's
our family and another family split a cow earlier this year.
like 50.
But
So you
I've
got
never-
half a cow,
Yeah,
or
we-
half a beef.
Yeah, we got half a cow.
That's awesome.
I guess half a beef.
Yeah. Well, this is this. You know, who knows?
Learn
Jesse,
something
we
every
were
day.
talking about weird terminology like 3 podcasts ago. Joe, I forget what
Yeah.
you said. What did you say? Oh, you said tobacco. I mean, so you can say whatever you want, but
That's tobacco.
you say tobacco
You
too.
can't say anything.
tobacco.
This is in
Tobacco,
Kentucky. They're like
Look,
4
I've
miles
got-
away from
I've
each
got
other.
reinforcements here to you Western idiots. All right, so don't
tobacco?
be bringing
Hey,
that
don't
I'm
up.
even
in the
like
mountain
tri-tip.
region. Thank you very much.
Heck yeah.
So, but no, yeah. So we had a quarter of a beef, and I love it, dude. The food, yeah. I'm sure. So you have a half one, right? So
Yeah, we're out now.
Are you?
We ate
dude,
it all.
that food is amazing though. The difference,
It's the best.
The difference between that and going to the
best.
store is
We don't go to the store.
it's incredibly different, and it's so much darker maroon compared to like the bright red. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I think it was it you, Jesse, that told me that they dye meat at stores, or did I tell you
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
think you told me that, but
Well,
then
it's
I
all
told you
dead.
that.
Yeah, they dye. They actually dye it though, so it looks more red, and it's like. Okay, but they actually like dye it some way so it actually looks more red, so it looks like more pleasing to the
Well,
eye.
it's
like,
and
that's
they use
gross.
specific lights too. Did you know this?
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
The fluorescent lighting makes it look redder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which is why when I get it home, put it in my fridge, I'm like, my wife's
It
like,
doesn't
this
look
is
as
not
red.
good.
Yeah, no.
Why is
like,
this
why is this
brown?
brown?
This is
Why
expired.
is this brown?
Like, no, it's not. Just cook the damn thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, just cook it.
No,
just cook
it's
it
like-
to 300. You're fine.
Yeah.
Jesse,
Yeah.
I'm
Every week I
surprised
walk
you
into
haven't
my
gotten,
kitchen.
like you haven't actually went and got a cow from a farm. I'm really surprised how
I
much you smoked
get.
meat.
The only reason I don't is because my wife and kids are the pickiest human beings on earth, and they
You can
only
get
eat,
it all ground.
Yeah,
they only eat certain things. Yeah, no, you're right. My son would eat hamburgers every single day of his entire life. My daughter would only eat chicken tenders her entire life. And my wife, I don't even really know what she eats, to be honest with you. Pasta, Olive Garden. And then I
She
eat
said
deer
she
meat.
likes Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Taco Bell.
I eat I eat deer tenderloin, deer meat, wild turkey, local raised cows. And I'm like the lone wolf in this house. So
I would say it's going to waste, but I know you're sharing it with your neighbors.
100%. 100%.
Everything
it's
else.
so weird.
I cook.
It's so weird.
Brian's
People would
redoing
think
his
you're
kitchen.
Mormon, man. Bro, we were just talking about this.
How many wives you got?
Yeah. Brian and his wife are redoing their kitchen right now, so they have no kitchen, like none, not whatsoever. So I'm feeding 2 families every single night right now, which is awesome because I like it because I get to cook and I'm cooking 2, bacon wrapped pork tenderloins or whatever else I'm doing. So
I've never in
I
my life
like it.
said that. It's awesome because I get to cook. Like, no.
I love it.
No, I love smoking. Every time my wife's like, "Hey, you want to smoke something tonight?" I'm like, "Let's do it."
Mm-hmm.
I love
And then when I
Back
fire
with
up
a
the
lighter.
smoker, I make sure that I cook at least 2 to 3 days worth of stuff. Like if I'm gonna fire it up, I'm gonna fire it up for a reason, and that comes
interesting.
from, well,
Yeah, that
that
makes
comes
more
from
sense.
the
I haven't
Traeger
done
has moved that needle, but back in the day when I had a 55-gallon drum that I made myself for $100, and it was a smoker. Lighting that thing up was a big deal.
Yeah.
So when I lit it up,
Oh,
I was going to
yeah.
cook 2 racks full of meat, period. And that was going to last me for a whole week. And that's the way my mindset was on it. So if I'm lighting it up, the whole neighborhood's getting invited. Whatever you need to cook's getting cooked because I'm cooking an entire bag,
Yeah, I get it.
right? A bag of charcoal and some wood and stuff or whatever right then.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I've never really gotten out of that mindset when it comes to it.
How much different does it taste on the Traeger versus that?
Not as smoky.
Really?
Not
Not-
as
But,
smoky.
like,
No,
Do you
not
get-
nearly as smoky.
What about like
Like
the
dirty?
charcoal flavor?
I never could taste the charcoal flavor in my barrel drum because
So
I
not like
made
a
sure.
charcoal grill.
No. So
You don't get
the
that
way that I did
taste.
it, so the way that I made the 55-gallon drum is that it's got a cage with a pizza pan lifted up about 3 inches with stainless steel bolts at the bottom. And you pour charcoal down in that cage, and then you put wood into the desired smoke element that you want. And I would put quite a bit in there, whether it be cherry, apple, pecan, or whatever. And
Balsa, pine,
Beach.
plywood.
MDF.
plywood. So what was the question? I got lost now.
Does treated lumber smoke taste good?
Oh God, that can't be healthy.
That'd be awful.
Can't be
That's
healthy.
exactly. I think that might be why I got lost in this question.
That's
Smoking that treated.
yeah.
You're not supposed to do creosote?
Railroad ties taste delicious.
Yeah. They burn.
What was the damn
forever,
question,
too.
Brandon?
It was about
Sorry.
the smokiness of the
Oh,
drum
yeah.
Does
there.
it taste
So anyway,
different?
So I could add that smokiness that I wanted in the wood, right? But the charcoal, I would add it unlit. So I'd pour almost an entire bag of charcoal in that basket unlit, and I would only light about 20 briquettes and pour them in the middle. And then they would slow burn downward. And then catch the wood on fire to cause the smoke. And it's called the minion method, which is way before the minions. But it's called the minion method. And
Brew approved.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
and that method a bag of charcoal, I could cook for 16, 18 hours in a bag of charcoal using that method with wood and everything else. And I would layer, so when I poured my charcoal in that basket, I'd pour a layer of charcoal, put some wood down. Layer of charcoal, put some wood down. So that way it got some of that wood smoke in layers throughout the entire cook, depending on how long I was going to cook, if that makes sense. So I could control the amount of smoke, where my mom, my wife, and other people in my life do not like a lot of smoke. I could reduce it. But for me, my dad, a bunch of other people, my neighbors and stuff, they liked a lot of smoke. I could really lay it on. With the Traeger, it kind of is what it is, which is a reduction of smoke, I think, compared to that.
it makes sense.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. You're the only one here that actually knows how to barbecue.
Yeah. So I love my Traegers. I love all my Traegers. But I love how easy it is to smoke and make really, really good food.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm telling you
but
right
the time
now, if I
that,
had to do all that shit Jesse just
Yeah.
said, not happy.
yeah, I don't know.
Not even
I don't.
close.
Yeah, that's why I don't do
It'd be
that.
very
Absolutely
rare
not.
that I do that. It'd be for like holidays where I
Yeah,
have a
like
ton of
never.
people over. It wouldn't be like during the week where I just throw it on and do it. The Traeger, I can
Bro.
literally do it every day, and it would be easy.
I would do that, and I'm not even kidding. I would do that method for 2 pork chops.
Nope.
Yeah, you have too much
First
patience.
of all, pork chops
I have
are
a
not good.
microwave.
Yeah, it's like you have too much patience if that's the case. I love barbecue, but I love to go to places that do that for
Yeah.
me. If that's
Which
the
is
case.
why, like, I've not gotten rid of my older style stuff, although I love my Traeger, and the Traeger is the absolute best all-around cooker that you can have in a backyard. It really is. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants to do anything from smoking to cooking hot dogs. There's nothing out there that's better. That you can fire up and get it done.
Boiling hot dogs, that's better.
Actually, my wife loves that.
Sure.
No,
Yeah.
I will stand by. A boiled hot dog is better than grilled hot dog.
So I worked at Sam's Club.
There's no way you cut open a hot dog and fry it in a pan with some butter, and that's going to be better?
Boiled, better. It's better.
So weird.
I worked at Sam's Club in the cafe for a long time in high school, or not high school, college. And that's pretty much what they do. Like, Costco and Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, their hot dogs are amazing. Really, it's just like a roasting machine where it's like just a ton of steam. And it just basically boils it.
They're
That's
on
all
the rollers.
No, it's not. No, not even that. It's in a big old.
Wow.
You literally like it's like you're deep frying it, but you put it in, and the water's not up to it quite yet. It's like right to the base. And it's just so hot that all the steam, and that's what
the
cooks
steam
it.
cooks
Yep.
it.
Steamed hot dogs.
And they're good. My wife loves it. That's how my wife cooks most of her hot dogs.
Side note to this absolutely awesome podcast is this is going to take me a shit ton of time to edit, by the way.
What? Why?
Why?
There's like 3 hours of podcasting right now.
No, dude, I already told you. You just sent it to me. It doesn't matter. It's a Thanksgiving special. If they're not happy with it, just the way it is, they don't have to listen to it.
There's only 3 people listening at this point
whiskey
anyway.
and ice right here.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine, man. I said that's all right.
It's a raw.
It's okay. Dude,
raw footage.
we've just done a complete other. We said it was going to be a 30-minute special. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, just so we're aware. Thanks for joining us for the extra hour and 10, Nick. We appreciate it.
Not a problem.
I hope through all that
between.
rambling, someone got anything out of the Thanksgiving talk. And
Boiled hot dogs are best.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story. And that Brandon
burnt,
doesn't know what
boil some
tenting
hot
means.
dogs.
Those are the two things.
Or kosher salt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So, thanks for listening, guys. If you haven't already, go follow Nick. Go follow us on the Go Build Something podcast on IG. Subscribe, make sure you review because apparently that helps. And we'll see you guys next time. Go build something.